Hi, this is BrindaDevine. Thank you for joining and listening to my podcast, Living a Life of Purpose with BrindaDevine. So, this podcast was started about 3 years ago, and the purpose behind this podcast is to share the importance of purpose in our everyday lives. I hope that you have an opportunity to listen to every podcast. I hope that you start from the beginning and go through and not pick and choose what you want to listen to, but to start from the very beginning and to embrace and listen and open your mind to the conversation about living our life on purpose. Hi, this is Brenda Devine from Purpose 8 Institute. And I just want to say thank you for joining me for another episode of my podcast, Living a Life of Purpose with Brinda Devine. So before I start the podcast, and I want to say welcome to 2025. I hope that you have an opportunity to not only listen to this podcast, but before the end of every year, I have a series that I call the 14 points of how I discovered my purpose. And I post those videos on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and then on our YouTube page, Purpose 8 Institute. So if you get a chance, there are about 13 different videos how I talk about how I discovered my purpose, and I give the 14 points I encountered as I was learning and growing and humbling myself to submit myself to God and what He wanted instead of what I wanted to do. So I hope that you get an opportunity to that series. Again, it is on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and then also, and it's also on Spotify, I believe. Yes. So if you get an opportunity, please do so. So I'm going to jump right into today's topic, which is open your door. Yes, open your door. Or I should say, open the door. Open the door. So, um, I started off this journey in purpose. Um, oh my gosh. Probably around 2015, 16. I started off, writing a book, which led to another book, and then a side turn. Okay, Brenda, I want you to um, work on this project called Corner Store. So that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years, on top of other things. So the 3 years included me coming up with the model, researching, working towards accessing capital to fund the redevelopment of a 100-year-old neighborhood market in Detroit, which I call Corner Store, KORNR store. And it has been a journey on humbling me, making me be quiet. I still complain. But I think complaining is part of my DNA. But complaining for things that I know to be right, not just to be complaining when I know things can be better. But God has really humbled me in many ways, from accessing the capital, rehabbing the building, connecting to so many people, countless people. I had a hard time remembering names before. Now I just try to remember faces. So this journey has been so interesting, and because I'm an overthinker, analytical, I like to process the information and make sure I understand where I am and to where I need to improve, both on myself first, and then anything that I need to improve as I go on this journey with Corner Store. But I want to share with you that one of the things I do when I'm in the store is I have the door locked. Sometimes I have it open, but the majority of the time I have it locked because I might be in one part of the store doing something. I might be downstairs. It might be where I just feel like I just need to have the door locked. So I find it interesting that if I'm at the back of the store doing something and someone is thinks that the door is open and they're trying to open the door, I have found that 99% of the time, someone will try one time to open the door. And if they can't get that door open, they will immediately walk off or jump in the car. And there have been many instances where I get to the door and I'm like, hey, wait, I'm here. It takes me a little time to get up here to open the door. And then I welcome them in. And then there's other times I've gone out and I couldn't catch up with the person because they walked so fast or got in the car and left so fast, they didn't give me an opportunity to open the door. So I was thinking about that the other day because I had a customer who is a feisty little gentleman. He was trying to come in. Well, I was in the back. I had the door locked, and he was trying to get in. And he shook on the door and shook on the door. And I was like, okay, why are you shaking so hard? And so when I saw him, I'm like, stop shaking on that door so hard because you're rat. Because it kind of scaring me. But then when I had time to think about it later, I was like, he was shaking on that door because it was something that he wanted to get from the inside. And he needed to get in that door. And that's why he rattled the door. Most people, like I said, will just walk off. They'll do one pull, it doesn't open, and then they swiftly walk away. And what I got out of that was that many of us, we know that God has a purpose for us, or we know deep in our spirit that there's something for us to do, but we get distracted, or we're afraid, or we don't have enough information, or we get overwhelmed, or we get prideful. But when we come to a door, most of us, when we come to a door, what that God has for us. And so I had a door in 2014, and I've had many doors since that. I've had a door to write a book. I've had a door to write another book. I've had a door to post on Instagram and share my Instagram and social media and videos. And I've had doors to the biggest door so far has been a corner store door. So we have these doors in our life that are constantly coming by, these opportunities, these people to meet, connections, classes, places to go, phone calls to make, messages to leave. We have all these different doors, and sometimes we don't even walk up to the door because we're so afraid. And then there's some of us, we walk up to the door, and if I can't open it that one time, I walk away. And that's not how it works. And what's happening is we're walking past doors that could have been opened. We're walking past opportunities that we could have had. We're walking past people that we could have met. We're walking past because we don't want to pull on the door. We don't want to bang the door hard enough. We don't want to speak up. We don't want anyone to know how we really feel about ourselves. Like we feel like we're insecure, or we're imposter, or we don't want to be embarrassed, or we don't have enough money, or we don't want to put the effort in to the door because we're so focused on what we don't have versus what we do have. First, you have an opportunity for a door. You have an opportunity for a door. There is a door for you to open and walk through. And then you put the effort in. I'll back up. You notice the door. That's one thing. That's the biggest thing, is to notice that it is a door. Most of us don't recognize that it's a door. How many people I wish I had talked to years ago that were in my presence, or I was in their presence, and I didn't talk to them. I didn't ask questions. How many times have I done that? And I wish now that I had. But we have to recognize the door. And then we have to recognize the doors for you. The doors for you to open.
it's not just there to be pretty. The door is there for you to open. There's something inside the door. I mean, you got stuff with you outside the door, but there's something inside for you. Outside of the door, what do you have? You have the same thing that you had yesterday and the day before yesterday. But in this door, there is something for you. So, with Corner Store, I'm be honest, I didn't want to open the door. I thought it was too much. I started thinking about all the things that I didn't have and all the things I couldn't do. And then I had to align myself to who God says that I am. And I said, I'm going to open that door. I'm going to open that door. I'm going to bang on that door. I'm going to pull on that door. I'm going to open that door. And because I humbled myself and stopped thinking about who I thought I was and aligned myself to who God says I am, I opened the door. And when I walked through the door, I realized all how small I was. How many of the things that I thought I knew that I didn't know, my insecurities, my baggage, my pride, my intellect, all those things didn't really matter. The important thing was that I went inside. I opened the door and I went inside to see what God had for me, what He has for me. I got inside and I got what He has for me. I could see it. I'm going to admit that when we finished the construction corner store, I was slow rolling the opening because I was afraid. Afraid. Now I'm inside the door. I'm inside the room. I'm inside. I'm inside corner store. And I'm slow rolling it because I'm afraid. Because I'm not really good at customer service. I'm not like, oh my gosh, this is like, what have I what have I got myself into? The point of being afraid, of being uncomfortable, of being in a place of doing things I had never done before. I had never rung up an order before. I had never had to operate on a POS system before. I never had to log inventory in before. I never had to greet customers before. I'm in an uncomfortable place. But what I came to realize after being convicted by the Holy Spirit and my friends that poured into me, like, Brinda, you got to open the store. And I'm like, you know what? God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being afraid. I'm sorry for not trusting you. I'm sorry for not doing what you asked me to do. I've done what you've asked me to do all along. And now that I get to the point of execution, I'm overthinking this. All I have to do is be obedient like I've been and just keep walking. Just keep walking in faith. So I let down the fear, put down the fear. And I'm like, we're going to do this. And so I just did what I had to do. And what I found is that when I have customers come through the door, the first thing I say is, welcome to Corner Store. How do you like the space? How do you feel when you walk in? Because I want to know their experience. And what I was afraid of, thinking it had something to do with me, really does not have anything to do with me. The experience is about the people who walked through the door, the people who pulled on the door and walked in, the people who took one pull, walked away, but I caught them just in time. And they came in and they walked through the door. Corner store is not about me. My purpose is not about me. Your purpose is not about you. It's about you acknowledging that there's a door for you to walk through, that you have a purpose, and that you need to walk through that door. Doesn't matter if it's a little door, a big door, a steel door, a gated door, you need to walk through the door. And God will tell you how to walk through that door. God showed me and provided everything I needed to walk through the door. So when people are in the store, the customer service aspect, that I worried so much about because I didn't have the skill sets, I found that I had the skill sets because I welcomed them into the door. And they came in and we talk. And I find out what they like. I find out what they like to eat. I find out what they do. I find out the different things about them. And we have conversation. And then anything that I have as a resource to point them at what they want to do, I point them there. I share that information with them. And then when it comes to operating the cash register, I had to write me down some instructions. I had to ask my customers for grace as I learned how to use the equipment and the cash register. They were fine with it because I welcomed them in. I spoke to them. I greeted them. We had conversation. They could sense something about me, and I sensed something about them. And we connected, and we're connecting. And I started to realize what the bigger vision was for Corner Store. Beyond the food desert, beyond the food inequity, beyond the healthy food initiative, it is to connect people to other people, to resources, to encourage them. That is what I'm there for. Now, if you had told me 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago that this is what I was supposed to be doing, I would have told you was crazy. But isn't, when you think about it, isn't this what we are to do as God's servants? Is to help people, to walk by faith to what He has for us to do, to serve, to humble ourselves, to walk through doors that are closed. Is that not what we're supposed to do? But first, you got to recognize that there are doors that are waiting to be opened, that you have a purpose. There is something for you to do here on this earth other than scrolling through your phone, other than cleaning the house, other than working on your job or working on your business or working on your friendships or working on your organization. There is more for you to do. And if any of those things are aligned with your purpose, wonderful. Keep doing it. But I have found that there's this string in my life. There's this pattern of obedience, of purpose, of serving that I never realized. But now that I know every door that is in front of me, I realize that if I can't open it that first time, I'm not supposed to turn around and just leave. I'm supposed to bang on that door. I'm supposed to push on that door. I'm supposed to grab that handle, and I'm to open that door and walk through. And I'm going to challenge you to put yourselves, I shouldn't say put yourselves, I'm going to challenge you to open your mind to God putting you in uncomfortable places that you've never even considered because you don't know where they're going to lead you. You don't know who they're going to impact. You don't know who you're going to help. You don't know how any of this is going to plan out, to run out. But realize before you were born and while you're living, someone was walking through doors for you to help you. And they were afraid and they were unsure and confused. But they banged on that door. They pulled on that door and they walked through. And you are benefiting from that sacrifice, that service, that humility. And so we have to do the same so that others can know about God, about the gift of salvation, about Jesus. So I'm leaving you with that to marinate on and consider when something comes up to you, or someone comes up to you that you're unfamiliar with, you don't know, or someone is off at the side of a room, or an opportunity comes that you didn't think about or presents itself, or think about, is this a door? Pray about it. Is this a door? Ask God, your creator, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do, Lord? Is this for me? Is this aligned with my purpose? Is this aligned with what you created me to do? And you might not get an answer, but you might have a feeling that that's your answer. I didn't pick all the things that I've done in the last 3 years. I didn't write down a plan. I just walked. I just walked into what God wanted for me. He laid everything out. I just walked. And you can walk. Was it scary? Yes. Did I cry? Yes. Did I roll on the ground? Yes. Did I pray a lot? Yes. Did I read? Did I study? Yes. Did I feel alone? Yes. Did I wish more people had helped me? Yes. But because it wasn't about, I've come to find that it wasn't about people helping me. It was about me submitting myself to my purpose and being in relationship with God, me and Him. Am I going to do His will or not? Or not? And I chose yes, because I can't live without God. I've been emptied. I've been humbled. I can't. I can't live without Him. So I walked through the door, not knowing all the answers, not knowing any answers, not knowing what it would look like, what it would be, but I just walked. So I'm praying that you have the courage, that you put down your pride, that you talk to your Creator and ask Him, what is it that you want me to do? And then do it. So I'm going to leave you with that. This is BrindaDevine from Purpose 8 Institute. Hey, I just want to thank you. Bye.
Hey, this is Brenda again. I hope that you have enjoyed listening to the episode, the podcast episode. And I want you to consider taking time out of your busy days to read the Bible for yourself, to apply the word to your life, to align yourself to the word, and watch how your life changes as you discover the importance of purpose in your own life. And also, if you want additional information about this ministry, the Purpose 8 Ministry, please go to our website, purpose8institute.com. Talk to you later. Thank you. Bye bye.